Hold on 1 second. Just gotta do that annoying announcement. Okay. What's up, YouTube? We are live. This is our live stream. We're going to be focusing on off market and say hello to the Discord. So we got the whole family here. We got the whole family from the Wholesalers. And right now we are looking at Kylie's deal that she just got under contract and that we are wholesaling. Tomorrow is our showing. And it's this beautiful house. Absolutely stunning. In where? South Dallas? I think it's South Dallas. I love it.
Yes, we are. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. And this property is so nice that we are deciding to tear it down and wholesale it for the land value.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Hey, it's Skylar. All right, guys.
Oh, God.
Skylar's here.
Max, you know how to turn on the plugs in the conference room for the table?
Skylar, I'm on YouTube and it's live. What the heck, man?
Sorry.
Man, no one cares about your plugs for the conference room. So anyway, Skylar, so what's the numbers on this? So I see that it is listed for $80,000. What did you get under contract at?
Which one?
Skylar, not you. I'm talking to Kylie.
Oh, I thought you said sorry.
All right, Kylie, what did you get it under contract at?
Sorry, I switched to my laptop. I believe we got this one under contract for 60. I'm sorry, I can't remember at the moment. Right, okay. Skylar?
Skylar, now you can talk, Skylar. You're good, buddy. You've been approved. You've been approved to talk, Skylar.
YouTube's gonna love us.
You gotta unmute.
God, YouTube's just gonna. Okay, you know what? I'll talk for Skylar. So I believe you got under contract for 50,000.
We got the property under contract for 50,000. Are you talking about Martin Street, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll run you through it. So we got the property under contract for 50,000. We're believing to sell it at 55 to 60,000. We're putting it out for 60,000, but probably going to come in a little bit lower due to the comps not suggesting as well as they should. The play is that it's a 600 square foot house that needs to be broken down. You could fix it, but the rehab cost to do that with new roof, foundation, all that kind of stuff just wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't be worth an investor's time for profit wise. So we're looking at demoing that. We have two lots. One lot is 4,500 square feet. The other lot is 1,000 square feet. So that lot is not big enough. I don't know why it was plotted that way, why they even subdivided in the first place, but that lot is not big enough to build on independently. So we're selling it together. Obviously, normally you would contract them separately, but because you can't build on that one, we're doing them both. The thought is that you break down or demo, if you will, the property on the lot already, take that off, and then rebuild a new construction on it. The new construction after repair values or new construction value, if you will, is about $310,000 to $325,000. And we're believing it to cost around $190,000. So.
Okay, so got it. Now I'm looking at that property, and to me, it looks like there's a nice roof on it, and it looks like it's salvageable. Am I just looking at this wrong?
Well, I mean, it is obviously to get to full ARV potential, especially in that area, you would probably need to do all the majors. It does look like a good roof, but again, we haven't seen interior pictures. From the exterior. It might look good. We haven't seen interior pictures. So I don't know what it's looking like from the inside. I know it hasn't been replaced in like the last 6 years. So an investor's going to come do the major anyway. I honestly, the ARV on that with the 1-1 in that area is so small. You could add an extension and add an addition, but if you're going to start, doing more ground up development, I say you just do the whole thing.
Yeah. So Skylar nailed it. So that area is calling for much nicer homes. So at the end of the day, who's going to want to fix up a 600 square foot house? No one's going to spend the money to buy it. That area is calling for 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 square feet, really nice homes. Actually, I don't know if this is actually the right neighborhood. Another property we're working on it, but at least this one's calling for 1,500 to 2,000 square feet homes, right, Skylar? Like nicer. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of construction going up. There's not a ton of flipped properties.
Okay.
And the flipped properties are selling for like 190 anyway, or I'm sorry, a little bit lower than that. So
Okay. So then on these types of plays, when the house is not worth fixing up, whether even it can be in okay condition, because this property's in pretty good condition, maybe it would take 20 or 30 grand to fix up, right? It's not a big house, but the neighborhood is not calling for a 600 square foot house. It's calling for 1,500, 2,000 square feet. Then it's like, all right, let's just demo this and wholesale it for the land value. Now they had it listed at 80,000, and Kylie came in with a $50,000 offer, and they took it. Now I know 30,000 may not seem like a lot to negotiate down, but we're talking. What are we talking? 35%, like or almost
You don't
40%.
have any, huh?
That's like 40%. All right, hold on. I got to mute people. We got to do the daily muting. We got to do the daily muting. I'm sorry, you're muted.
I did see it.
Oh no, it's the wrong person.
Yeah,
No, I can't go back to the main
I
one.
wanted to give them the other one.
It's her. Is it her? Did I get it? Did I get it? I think I got it. All right. I don't know how to go back to the main screen. Full screen. No. You guys can save me here. Please let me know. That's so wrong. Oh my God. What did I do? Guys, help me here. How do I minimize her? Oh, there we
I
go.
did
Nailed
it. I clicked.
Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, we're
Yeah.
good. So
Okay.
anyways, so yeah, Kylie negotiated 40% down. 32. I think so, right? Am my math right? About 40% down. That's insane. That's insane. So that's on market. So never say that you can find a property on market or even off market that you can't negotiate down 40%. Was this on market or was this a pocket listing, Kylie?
This was on market.
Okay, it was on market. Guys, so
Yeah.
firstly, the first thing I just want to stress here is 40% down. That's insane. That's like taking a $300,000 house and buying it for like, I don't know, 180 or something. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah.
So then the second thing I really want to stress before we talk about off market, because I know that's the point of this one, is sometimes it's worth just buying properties for the land and wholesaling the land. And how do you value the land? Skylar, do you want to jump in on that? You quickly mentioned it. How do we
I
value
wanted to
land?
jump in.
Go ahead.
I just got a call. I wanted to jump in and give some good news. I thought everybody would like to hear it.
All right, break the news.
Another deal that Kylie brought in today. We just got our offer accepted on. So Kylie, you need to start drafting up that.
Oh, yes.
Let's go. Let's go. Wait, which one's this? Is it too good?
The call that I just received was them telling me that they accepted our offer. So good job, Kylie. Another one on the books. So good job.
All right.
yeah.
Everyone gets the news live. All right, I love this. Guys, please. I mean, Kylie's killing it. Kylie's getting a head start, but all of you can do this too. Kylie, if you want to jump in and just
all seriousness,
give
Kylie,
some
I'm
good
gonna give
words.
you a call.
Kylie, motivate everybody. Go, Kylie.
Oh, that's too much. Too
Come
much
on,
on
you can do
Kylie.
this. You can do this. Give some words of motivation for everyone.
I mean, I really truly don't have too many. Sorry, that was my phone. Too many words of motivation. I mean, everybody's story is so different, and I know mine is so different than everybody else's, but it's really just finding, how do you word that? Like, yeah, maybe your niche type thing, but you just have to call. You just have to ask tons of questions. And I'm learning. I'm also kind of training my husband a little bit on how I do things. And, asking a lot of questions and not giving them an offer right away has worked tremendously for me. Like, I don't know, kind of in a sense, like make friends with them, like in your words. Even if you're not a nice person, try to be really nice at first. And then just hit them with like, okay, well, unfortunately, the list price, is a little high. Do you think that we would consider an offer around this amount? Like something like that has really worked for me. But I don't know. It's just trying. Every day I get up and I work 8 to 3:30 is my time, and I just call and text and that's it.
I love that.
I mean, really. I'm really bad at words for motivation.
No, thank you so much. And if anyone else wants to jump in and comment or say what works for them, I mean, feel free. This is not just a time for me to talk. I want everyone to feel like they can participate. So if you want to talk, always jump in. Or if you're scared to jump in, you can message me first, and then I can bring you in. But going off of
I have a
yes, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh,
Hi guys.
Hello.
So I just joined today your group. Kylie, what are you using to find those leads? Do you use a specific software or you're just using Redfin, Zillow?
Girl, I have used Zillow like this whole time. To get the rental portfolios, I did get the 7-day free trial for PropStream, which once I close these deals and actually get the money, I definitely will be buying it because it's a little spendy
Uh-huh.
monthly because it was fantastic. I definitely have a lot of leads from there, but since the free trial ended, it's all Zillow, literally all
Okay.
Zillow. I'm not gonna lie.
Awesome. Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah, I have Privy. I don't know if you have heard of that. It's really cool for comping. So I was wondering what you guys were using.
PropStream,
Oh,
Privy,
I
both
definitely would love some.
awesome. They're both great options.
Okay.
Okay, my goal, I'm going to say it here live. My goal is to hopefully get a sponsorship by one of them one day, and then we'll all start using them. We're not there yet, but hopefully we get there soon. PropStream or Privy are great. So,
Yes.
yeah, if y'all can afford it, I think you should absolutely try it. And if you haven't yet done the 7-day trials on PropStream, I'm think Privy also has something. Absolutely try it.
I got Privy with Pace's discount when he
There.
did the elephant challenge. So
Yep. Pace has a great discount code you can use. I think it's just Pace, but you can double check that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, let's let's jump on Pace's discount for that. But great question. So and then one thing I really want to stress that Kyle was saying, and something I think that's so important is at the end of the day, everybody is pretty much going to be submitting more or less the same offer. This is a talk I was having with one of the partners the other day. When you have a property that's listed at 300,000, we're not doing anything different than anyone else. We're looking at the exact same, ARVs. We're looking at the exact same comps, and we're offering pretty much the same thing. 70% ARV, 75% ARV. At the end of the day, the seller, the realtor, is going to be getting a lot of the same offers. Whether that's, for that $300,000 house, 180 or 190, maybe they'll get a $200,000 offer. But who are they going to choose out of all those people? They're going to get a dozen of the same offer. Who are they going to choose? They're going to choose the person who they're best friends with. They have the best gut feeling. They have a good relationship with them. So what Kylie's doing is she's just doing that. She may not know exactly what she's doing and why it's working like magic, but she's submitting the same offer as everyone else, but she's coming off as trustworthy, as friendly, and as just knowledgeable, and she's asking the right questions. And when you go into a deal and you don't immediately say, hey, this is my offer, take it or leave it, you start asking questions. It shows a air of professionalism and confidence, and also curiosity and interest in that deal. And that's why they're going to choose
Mhm.
you. You're all submitting the same price, but they're going to choose you because they like you better. So I had a great example of that is I had somebody who brought me a portfolio. It's actually Jono. So if Jono's here, Jono, you listen to this, hello. And I already submitted a $700,000. No, they wanted $750,000 for the portfolio, and I submitted a $550,000 offer. And they said, hey, that's too low for us. I said, hey, that's fine, right? And Jono found the same deal, and he was like, is it worth me submitting an offer? I said, absolutely, because the more offers they get at 550, they're going to start to come to reality. And who are they going to choose?
Mhm.
You, me, I don't care, right? But they're going to finally choose somebody. So that's the thing. We're all submitting deals, but it's the relationship that will make the difference. That's what
And
matters.
when you are submitting the offers, do you have like a template email or you just
Great,
text them and then go from there?
great question. I think honestly, Kylie's just talking and texting. If I'm correct, jump in if I'm not, Kylie. But you
I'm
can,
mostly text.
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. It's like 90% texting because a
Mhm.
lot of people just don't answer the phones, especially
Yeah.
like 8 a.m. in the morning. Like me and my husband called so many people this morning and they did not answer. But texting, oh yeah, they answered so quick. And then I
Yeah,
let them
true.
know that if they want to give me a call, they can, or if they prefer text, we can text. But I do want to touch base. So the rental portfolio that I did acquire a couple of them, the agent said that they they really liked how nice I was. And
Mhm.
when I followed up with him on any of the properties or anything, I never started out with the properties. I always started out with like, hey, how's your morning going? Hey, did you have
Yep.
breakfast? Are you, ready to talk? Or, like
Mhm.
I acted like they were my friend. And I think that's what works best for me.
And
great
once
tip.
you like, so you agree with for the price by text as well?
Mm, I think I
I
get a
use
phone call or two in before I agree on price.
So you
and
can.
they provide the contracts, right? The with realtors.
So yeah, great question. So there's a few things you can do. So you can either just have a verbal conversation about the price. That's usually what I do. I don't want to submit. I don't want to. We're negotiating a ton of deals. I'm not going to spend the time to write up an entire contract when I'm not sure if they're going to accept. So I'm going to text them
Hmm.
or call them, and if we're close, then I'll do one of two things. I'll either send out an LOI. And on some really important, expensive deals, I like to have a fancy LOI like this. Can y'all see my screen? This is if I
Uh,
y'all can see my screen?
yes.
Okay, this is if I
Yep. Yep.
really, maybe it's a more expensive property or there's a realtor involved who seems maybe a little bit more bougie, not chill. You can tell they're
Hmm.
like professional. Then I like this more fancy LOI. Like I put my nice logo on there, nice colors. Now, what's in the LOI? Literally nothing in here is of any amazing. It just looks nice. It just says, hi, hey, this is one I did for seller financing on a property. I was telling them the terms and that's it. Yours would just say, hey, I want to buy this property cash, 7-day close, a 14-day close, 7-day option. Here's my cash offer. We'll love to do business. It just looks fancy,
Okay.
right? This looks a lot better than just a text or a call. Now, you don't have to do this on
Okay.
every deal. The more important deals or ones where I'm like a portfolio, things like this, I like to do LOIs. If not, just a call and a text. And then once they verbally say yes, then you write up the contracts. And I can, if you, what I'm going to be doing is submitting the contracts in the contract section here. I did that, but I had to make some
Uh-huh.
changes. So I'll put the contracts for Texas right here. But in
Okay.
general, the contracts are pretty similar in every state for cash.
Okay.
For creative, it's going to be way
And what
different.
about the agent said I prefer to use my contracts? Do you use the agents one
So
if
for
it's
what
on
what
the
type
market?
what type of deal? Because you said you're part of Pace's community.
Well, I'm not in the sub two. I just
Okay.
in the free group.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, if you prefer to use your contracts, use your contracts. But when you're submitting something on market to a realtor, they want you to use
Mhm.
realtor contracts usually.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Off market,
I
use
don't have
whatever
any
you like.
contracts. I'm just asking. Yes.
Yeah, no, great question. So yeah, so that's that there. Let's quickly finish this land deal, and then we'll spend 1 hour on off market because that's the focus. So I want to make sure we focus on off market. But more or less, how
Sorry,
do you?
guys.
No, no, no. Great questions. I love this. I love when people get involved. So at the end of the day, is when we're comping this property for like how we should make a cash offer. We've done it before. We would go and figure out what the ARV is, what the after repair value is. We would look for similar properties in the area and that have been fixed up, and then we would take that and offer 70% of that minus repairs. We have a lot of videos on that. If you have more questions, we can talk about that later. Problem is, we're not doing that because we're caring about the land. So what we do is a little bit different. You would look for new construction in the area. So you'd find the property, and then you would look for new construction around there. And then you would figure out, okay, let's say there's a new construction for, I mean, oh, there you go, right? Perfect example. That was very lucky. So, okay, so most new construction is 1,200 square feet. Let's just say, for the sake of this example, we're going to build a 1,500 square foot new construction. And then we're going to say, hey, building in at least Texas, in your area, maybe a little bit different, costs $150 a square foot. In California, that's probably closer to 300. In Alabama, it could be closer to 100 to 125, right? So it just depends on your area. You can look it up on Google. But Texas is $150 a square foot. Now, 1,500 times $150 a square foot, if my math is correct, should be $225,000. So now we know that, hey, we can build for $225,000. So then what we're going to do is say, what is this build going to be worth once we build it? And let's say that the builds for 1,500 square foot homes are selling for, I think Skylar told me they're selling for about 310. I don't know if that's correct or not, Kylie. I think that's sort of what he was telling me. So around there. So then we know, okay, there is what, $85,000 of profit. I think my math is right there. So there's $85,000 of profit. But wait, we need to buy the land. So we need to subtract the land, and then we determine what the land value is, and so on and so forth. Actually, I think 310 is a little low. So for this example, let's say 350. I think those numbers would make more sense. So then now, what I usually like to do is here. So now it's not, hold on one second, guys. I know it's a little confusing. So let's say the home is worth $350,000 new construction. So that's $125,000 of room. Well, the builders need to make a profit. On this type of build, a builder probably wants to make, I don't know, at least 50 grand a profit. They usually want to make 100 grand, but this is a much cheaper property. So maybe they want to make 70 grand a profit, because that's not profit. There's going to be costs, like they have to pay realtors when they sell the house. They have to pay closing costs. They have to pay holding costs like taxes. They may have to pay utilities. They may have to have, you know, they're probably getting loans on this amount, right? They're not coming out of pocket cash, so they're going to have to pay financing costs. There's a tons of costs, so they're not going to end up with $70,000 in profit. They may end up with 30 or 40. So what we're going to do, and if this is confusing, no worries, I'll make a full video on this. We say, hey, they're going to sell this house for 350. It's going to cost them 225 to build it, and they want to make about 70 grand in profit. So that means that the land, if this is 295, is worth 55,000. So that means, hey, I can afford to pay $55,000 for this land. And that's how you comp land. You're pretty much figuring out what new construction is, and then you're subtracting the costs, then you're subtracting some profit for the builder, and that gives you the land value. So this is what we came to for land value. And that's literally actually spot on, because Skylar said that they got this property under contract at 50 grand, and they're going to try to, and we're going to, our team's going to try to sell it for 55 to 60. So I hope that was helpful. That is Kylie's deal in a nutshell. If you guys have questions, ask, and then we're going to jump into off market. So there's your history lesson on how to comp land. Is that fun? There's a lot of math there. Okay. Everyone is so confused. That's totally fine. Wonderful. Well, long story short, if you guys have a deal where you think the helm is not salvageable, then that's what we do. Cool. What did you say?
I promise there's no confusion, just admiration.
Admiration. Oh, I love that. That's actually way too nice. I am no genius. So cool. Let's talk the subject of today, off market. And the reason I bring this up is all of you are doing such a great job submitting on-market leads. And trust me, it's not impossible to get on-market wholesale deals. Kylie is on her third in, 2 weeks. I don't know how she's doing it. And we as a company do a lot of them. But off-market is still where you get the best deals for the most money. Now, I'll be transparent with you. The deals that Kylie's sending us, they're great deals, but there's not a lot of profit for her, and there's not a lot of profit for us. Because it's on market, there's realtor costs. Everyone's seen these deals, and you can't negotiate as much. The off-market deals is where you make the big money. It's where you start to move from, 4-figure amounts for assignments to those 5-figure amounts, potentially 6-figure amounts. I haven't seen any of those in a long time. That was during the boom era in the 2020 and 2021. But that's really the focus. So today I just wanted to talk to you guys about how you guys can get started with off market. I know on market's a lot easier. You just pull up Zillow and you start calling. But that mindset of actually spending the time to skip trace numbers, to go door knock, to maybe do PPC campaigns, to do mailers, those 4 things will reap rewards. And it's all trial and error. You waste a lot of time doing those things at first until you get really good at them. I wasted a lot of time with them, so I'm here to help you guys so you don't have to waste that time. You can piggyback off of my mistakes and my learnings so you can get started and actually start making those big checks really quickly. So what questions can I first answer about off-market wholesaling? Is anyone here doing off-market wholesaling or has done off-market wholesaling successfully, direct to seller?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Hey, Max, I got a question.
Yeah.
Where do you start with off market?
I think the easiest place to start is the cheapest place to start. So there's really 4 types of off-market wholesaling. You have cold calling, which is when you go and you get lists of phone numbers and then you skip trace those phone numbers. You pay to have the phone numbers appear, right? So you're just getting lists of names and addresses, and then you skip trace them, and then you cold call them. Now you cold call them or you hire a virtual assistant to cold call them. That's really the easiest part alongside door knocking. Door knocking's free. all of you can go do it. Now you can get lists and go door knock actual lists. Like you can get a list of pre-foreclosures and go knock those doors. That's another option, or you can just do it for free, start door knocking. Those are the two easiest and best places to start. Mailers, like sending snail mail, gets expensive.
Walk information.
What?
No.
All right, got to mute together. And then also PPC campaigns means social media. That's also gets expensive. So most people in their infancy start with door knocking or cold calling, and most people are afraid to door knock. So most people are cold calling. And that's I've done much door knocking. I'm actually really excited to start doing door knocking. We'll start making more videos on that. If anyone's here local in DFW and wants to knock some doors, I've sold some other stuff door knocking, but never homes. But cold calling is where most people start.
Hey, quick question.
Yeah.
Do you have much experience with ringless voicemails?
So are you? So okay. I have not done much of those.
Right. Me neither. That's why I'm asking. I've heard some success. Like right now, I'm doing direct mail, and
Yep.
I've got some guys cold calling for me. I wanted to do SMS blasting, but I
Yep.
mean, there's just so much involved to get registered, and then after that, you got like a 2-month grace period to get that done. But I mean, I want to use SMS while it's still available, but I feel like ringless voicemails is kind of like a shotgun approach to outreach.
Ringless voicemail is good. What that pretty much means, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not an expert in this. Our focus is mostly disposition, not so much on the acquisition off
It's like
market.
Mojo Dialer.
But it's pretty much
He's
you
talking
get
about
yeah,
Mojo Dialer.
yeah, you get a dialer, and instead of having to leave a voicemail every time, you can just click a button and it leaves you a pre-recorded voicemail on every call. So so that really breaks into what type of cold calling, right? So cold calling is really going to be the most popular approach for most of you who don't want to go door knock and who don't want to spend the money on mailers or PPC. And when it comes to cold calling, you have different types of cold calling. You can use your cell phone, which I don't recommend because you will get marked as spam. Calling realtors with your cell phone number is fine. Get a dialing service. So then it's like, oh, what dialing service? Google Voice is where everyone starts. It's free, but it's not great. When people call you, they can tell your Google Voice number, and that doesn't look
I
professional. So, do you have any
I've used Call Tools,
recommendations?
and they're cheap. Yeah, Call Tools is like $120 a month, and you can call 10 people at a time.
Okay, so that gets us into step 3. So, or you can use a very basic one where it's just a like Google Voice, but that's better. And that allows you to call one person at a time. You insert the phone numbers one person at a time. That will cost you like 20, $30 a month. Or if you really want to step up and you want to start just blasting phone numbers, maybe you do it or you have a VA that does it. You can get these multi-line dialers that, like you said, can call up to 10 people at once. Usually they're 4 to 10. And then you can just start powering through phone numbers. So instead of going through 100 phone numbers a day, you could probably go through 500 or 1,000 phone numbers a day. But those usually cost, like you said, over $100, 100 to 150. So it really depends where you want to be and what your goals are. And then you also have to get the lists, which you usually want to use a software that's about $100 a month. And then you also need to skip trace the list, which probably costs about 10 cents each. So it starts to add up. So that's why most people, especially, most people are calling on market because there's no cost with on market. But there's a reason why the best deals are off market because it costs money. It's an investment.
Do you think, because I'm sure you're familiar with
Yeah,
PropWire, do you think it's as accurate as PropStream or DataTree?
that's a great question. I have not played with it enough because I am blessed to have MLS. And I'm a
Oh
realtor
yeah,
here, so
this
I
is
get the
true.
best data because I pay a fortune for MLS. But something beautiful that is now available to all of us that has not been available to us long is something called propwire.com. This is like PropStream or Privy, those two other sites we talked about, but free for the most part. And you can get some pretty good data here. It's probably not as good as PropStream or Privy, but it's probably 80% as good. So what I recommend to everybody is if you think you want to get started with off market, start with PropWire, pull some lists here from PropWire, and then skip trace it, and then just cold call yourself. Either get Google Voice or pay for one of those $20, $30 cold calling softwares, and then just start. So what should your budget be? Maybe $20, $30 a month for a dialer, or you can use Google Voice for free. and then you probably need to pull this. I mean, you could probably start at probably $100 a month budget and do a pretty good job. And then if you like it, maybe you see a little bit of success. If you get, and when I say success, I don't mean close a deal. Let's be clear about that. I mean you actually get some people on the phone and they're interested. I think that's success. Just getting some motivation from people at $100 a month, I think that's success. And then from there, you can scale it. So that's what I would recommend to everybody. And then when I say scale,
Also,
go ahead.
I highly recommend not using CropWire or PropStream for skip tracing because
Yep.
I've used them a couple times and I don't think they're accurate at all.
I tend to agree. Do you have a skip tracing software that has worked well for you? Because I have not found one
So
perfect yet.
I actually used a VA who skips at around 3 cents a lead.
Nice.
Some dude on Facebook hit me up, believe it or not, and I've been using him. He does all right. But another mass software I've seen is it's called DataZap, and they're around the same price as well, 3 cents a lead.
Okay, so data's app. As you guys can see, there is a ton, and there's no right answer. It's more just trial and error. I was using Penny Skips, which is dirt cheap skip tracing. It's actually uh, a guy who's out of Pace Morby's group that started Penny Skips right here. But I don't know if the data was how solid the data was. I didn't know if it was the skip tracing. So a problem you're going to get when you guys are doing this is it's a combination of is your skip tracing accurate, which is where you get your phone numbers, or is your data accurate? And if one of them is not accurate, then your then none of your phone calls will be accurate. So you want
Have
accurate.
you
Go ahead.
have you heard of Lead Mining Pros? They pull data tree records and they get them skip traced and everything for you for like package deals.
Oh, then there's another option. So as you guys can see, there's a ton of different ways to do this, and I wouldn't be analysis paralysis mode. You see, McSanity says skip matrix. So that's so there's a ton of options. I would just get started literally today or tomorrow with one of them and see how it is. You try it for a week. If it doesn't work, jump to another one. Before you know it, you're going to find one you like. The last thing you want to do is start just sitting on your butt, researching all of them, being like, oh, I don't know if this is the right one. I don't know if this is the right one. And then reading reviews. Just try. It doesn't cost that much money to not get started and just try them. You don't have to pay for a subscription. You just jump from one to one. And I don't think you need to go all out with the multi-line dialers and all this expensive stuff. I really think for about $100 a month, try it for a month, maybe 2 months. If it works for you, get some leads off market, then scale. But I really think you'll find success. Now, like Summit, have you had success with off market, like your mailers or your cold calling, your VAs calling?
Yeah, well, I mean, I mainly do land, so I
Mhm.
mean, there's a lot less emotion tied up into it. So I mean, I sent out
Yeah.
a packet of neutral letters. I think it was around 2,000 mailers, and I was able to get around 20 to 30 calls back from it. And I mean, just getting a call back from it is huge, simply because then you can log their info into a
Yep.
drip system, right, and then just keep that follow up going. But I mean, when I started out, I was using GIS, like county GIS, just getting their information, pulling the list from there, getting it skip traced, and then doing my own outreach. I was trying to limit my personal cell to around 75 calls a day because that's where I was realizing where that's whenever they start marking your number as spam.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's plenty of ways to do this for little to nothing, right? But if once you start getting your own capital, or obviously a lot of people that are just now getting into this, they're still working their full-time jobs, so you've got a bit of money to play with. But there's many routes to go with how wholesaling works.
Yep.
But cold calling is definitely the best way to start because it gets you trained for whenever you're
I
actually
agree.
getting on calls with motivated sellers.
I agree. That or door knocking if you want to get out there and start knocking. I think Pace
Right.
Morby says this, and he can't be any more right. If you go knock 100 doors, you will get your first deal. It's just who out of here wants to go knock 100 doors. Um, you know, it's I know it's a little scary, but once you start doing it, it becomes not too bad. Um, Off market, all this stuff works. It's just the problem why people don't have success and why it's a very tilted graph is that very few people are getting most of the deals off market, and many people are trying, but they just quit too early. They do it for a few weeks, and they hate cold calling. It's a grind. They get a few FUs and then they stop, or they knock a few doors and they have a bad experience and they stop. But if you would just continued for a little bit longer, then you get your first deal, and then you take that 10, 20, $30,000 you got from your first deal, because they're big checks. They're much bigger than on market. Then you can reinvest that. You can imagine how quickly you can scale. Get one of those deals and you can reinvest it into hiring VAs or any of that. And if you guys have questions on hiring VAs, let me know on that too. So yeah, I really recommend that all of you start and try off market. Hey, worst case, you spent $100, but you learned so much. You'll learn more than if you bought a $3,000 course by just trying off market yourself and running your own campaign. It's well worth the investment.
And another thing I'd recommend is if you aren't wanting to dip into this software and let's say you've got limited time, I found this website called Lead Mining Pros, and they pull these lists for you. They skip trace it and everything. And I think you can get something to where they can set up where it's American cold callers, right? They don't have the Filipino accent. And I mean, I've heard 500 leads from there. People get like 5 to 10 calls back. So, I mean, that's huge.
Exactly. Hey, and Mixanity, yo, you feel free to talk, my man. So this is our boy. He's awesome, and he's super knowledgeable. So hey, if you have anything you want to say, jump on in. And,
No, I was just letting you take
introduce
the
yourself.
reins, man.
Introduce yourself to the group.
What's my title?
You were going to be a Buccaneer. You're going to be the first Buccaneer. So everyone say hi to Mixanity, our first Buccaneer.
What's up, guys?
Mixanity is Cody.
Max. Yeah, my name's Cody. Yeah, I'll add it in the board.
Cool. And
What's up, Skylar?
Skylar's muted. But anyways, just give everyone a quick introduction to yourself. I'm gonna upgrade you to Buck.
Oh, nice. I'm not gonna make my joke. There. So if anybody needs me, it's my work line.
Oh, that's nice.
Put it in the chat. And looking forward to it. Max, it was selling me pretty hard on this when him and I met up. Was it a week or two ago?
Yep.
And I like Max. I like Tony. I don't know if anybody's talked to Tony yet. I like Skylar. Skylar seems like a good kid. But my history is I've been doing real estate full time for going on 6 years now. I'm an investor. I have about 15. I just bought 2 more this last week. So probably somewhere around 16, 17 now. And most of what I do is notes. I don't wholesale anymore. Say that's my thing, but I have experience, and Max is the guy of putting out knowledge. And they decided to bring me on because they want me to be a focal point for you guys so you can learn about marketing, learn about knocking down deals, and the biggest thing is learn about the seller objections. Now, marketing for the most part, that's to each his own. So it's like whatever works out for you. Because some people are going to be better at face to face. Some people got phone call finesse. Some of y'all are going to be natural salesmen. That's just how it goes. And it's just you got to figure out what works for you and what category and what system works in that category. So like if you want to knock out land, move some land. If you want to knock out DFW only, knock those out. It's just it's going to be a learning curve for everybody. And Max believes in me, and I like Max, and I want to help everybody grow. So I feel like this is a good opportunity for all of us. We all get to expand, and yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be here. It was just I got put on the spot real quick. I didn't have much of a speech prepared, so.
And I put everyone on the spot. It's good practice for everyone. When you're door knocking, they're gonna put you on the spot, Cody.
Oh, I am horrible at door knocking because I'm bigger than 90% of the people that open their doors. People like think I'm a cop, so I gotta stand like 10 feet back. Yeah, if anybody is about 6 foot and taller, or if you're jacked and got some cut forearms and everything, one trick is to stand away from the door. Like just get back a little bit and try to be non-aggressive.
Cody is huge. So, guys, I'm so happy that Cody's here. Cody's awesome. He's a friend of RFPs. He's a friend of our companies. I recently met him, and he's a creative genius. I think he's underplaying how genius he is on notes. So, what I actually want to do is have Cody just run a rap note class because he teaches me. It's insane the stuff he's doing. It boggles my brain. But what he's going to be doing is in this community. I mean, we're taking a lot of I'm going to start choosing people from the community and making y'all sailors. And really, what that means is that I'm going to start to provide you guys actual skip trace lists that we the company are paying for, and then give you a personal mentor who's going to be Cody, and then help you guys with the off market outreach. So this was really that first live stream where I'm starting to finally announce it. Is a lot of people just in the community, you guys are submitting on market, that's wonderful, or a lot of you are going on your own like Kylie, so I'm making her a gunner. That just means she's killing it as a wholesaler and she's a successful wholesaler. But people who want to be more students, and again, you don't have to pay for any of this, we're going to start to handpick people to be students, preferably if you're local in Dallas, but not mandatory. And then you'll just be working with Cody and you'll be working with the rest of the team, and we'll start to pay for, lists for you and whatever else you guys need. So that's really been our goal. And, I'm noticing y'all in this live stream. So we'll start choosing people slowly. It's a work in progress. But yeah, you're working with some of the best people in the space. I mean, Cody's awesome. Cody, you're part of Sub 2, right?
Facebook group.
Okay, so you're just part of the public Facebook group, right?
Yeah, I'm not into anything. I mean, I've got my own little sub 2 note group.
Okay.
Like it's like 40, 50 people, but that's about it.
Okay. When it comes to notes and raps, it's like, I mean, he could be teaching. He can teach anyone that. The dude's a genius on it. But he's also just a great investor, great motivator, great with off market. So yeah, if you guys ever have questions, just reach out to Cody. But he's our official first buck, and what a buck means is he's just a mentor to the sailors. So if you guys have any questions on all this, just feel free to ask. But I'm really happy with where this group is going. It means a lot. It's a vision in the making. So wonderful. But yeah, okay, perfect. So that's what it takes for off market. So hopefully that gave you guys a little bit of direction. I mean, at the end of the day, I really think the most important thing for you guys is to just no analysis paralysis. Just choose what you want to do. I think that's probably cold calling, and just freaking try it. Go get some lists and just start calling. And what I'm gonna do for you guys, it's Reaper getting feedback. Still getting feedback? Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So what I'm going to do for you guys is, like I promised.
Can you unmute Skylar? He's trying to talk to you.
Oh, sure. Skylar, after my announcement, then I'm going to unmute you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys some phone numbers to start by calling. So I know, after I give you that list and y'all go through that list, beautiful, then start on your own. But I wanted to motivate you guys and get you guys amped up. So I'm going to drop a few hundred phone numbers in probably, I'll send you a link. So that it's only whoever joined on this Discord you'll be the only ones who get the link. So that I don't forget, can each of you probably just either like this message and or DM me? So hold on, free phone numbers. And then I'm gonna drop you guys a link to a few hundred that we've already skip traced, we've already paid for. You let me know how the data is, because just like you guys, if the data is, give me your candid feedback, and then we'll change the data. But yeah, like this, and I'll send it to you, and then or DM me. So I will make sure to. I'll probably DM each of you individually the list to a few hundred phone numbers, and hopefully that motivates you guys to get started on off market. And yeah, I'm super excited. And if you guys have questions on off market, we have channels for all of it. We got channels on off market, we got channels on market. You have questions on comping, you guys just ask. I'm here to help you. So yeah,
you literally just gotta go fucking do it.
Yeah, it's just literally doing it. Yeah, I've gotten a deal on a text blast campaign. I got a wholesale deal on a text blast campaign, and then cold calling's mixed. So okay, so I'll tell you. So the list that I'm sending you guys, there's different types of cold calling lists. This one is a blanket, like, hey, these are just homes here in Dallas. That's it. It's not a special list. It's a general list. And then you can get more like refined with your list. You can say, hey, I want to target expired listings. I'm going to target homes where the realtors failed them. They tried to sell their home for 90 days and they couldn't. Now these people put their home off market and they're in despair. They're like, my home's never going to sell. Well, you can call those people. Or you could call people who are in pre-foreclosure. I mean, that's Pace's favorite for subject too, right? You're calling people who are late on their mortgage payments. Well, you can offer them cash as well, or you could do sub 2. You could, and there's a ton of other specialized lists. The phone numbers I'm going to give you guys are just going to be broad at first, but I really, recommend to you guys is try to find your niche. Some people love expired. Some people love pre-foreclosure. They all have a different vibe to them. When you're calling expired, they're generally more friendly. When you're calling pre-foreclosures, they're going to be a lot more. I'm not going to say they're not friendly, but these people all day long they're getting called by, bankruptcy people trying to take their money, annoying people. So they're going to be a little bit more. Hey, what do you want? And you're going to have to prepare for that. And a lot of people are going to tell you to F off, but you have to just grow some thick skin. But those deals, man, if you can get them to like you, automatic easy deal. So long story short, guys, really the point of this was just to motivate you guys and also just get you going. If you do it for a month, 2 months, 3 months, you'll find your favorite lists. You'll find your favorite, list software. You'll find your favorite skip tracing software. You'll find your favorite dialer. It's just a matter of just trying. There's no right answer. I can't jump on here and promote the softwares to use because that would be just me promoting softwares and trying to make money off of you guys, but that's not what I do. Any of those gurus who are saying that this is the best software, this is the best phone number service, they have a deal with that software and they're making money off of you. The best one's the best one for you. So just go try them. And yeah, there you go. So some land further out, my client is leaving me and you can contact. Anyways, yeah, pretty much if you guys have questions, you can reach out to me, Cole, or Skylar. I'm going to unmute Skylar now because I muted him. So I'll let Skylar talk. And if you guys have questions, please just jump in. Skylar, you are unmuted. No, you're not unmuted. Skylar, now you're unmuted, I think, right? No. Okay, now you're unmuted. What's up, Skylar?
Yeah, Oh no, I was just saying bye because I was getting in my car, but I'm just listening on my car, so I'm fine. I also want to say, is Minari in here? I saw Minari was in.
Minari's here.
I haven't heard a word he said. I don't know why he's being so quiet over there in the corner. He's not talking for some reason.
So Minare,
Minari's one of the most talkative people.
Well, okay, so I'll talk for Minare. He texted me. He has some technical issues, but he will be hopefully back at it next week. So he's on his phone just listening in. But we love Minare. Minare is one of the leaders in this community. I love how I can say leaders in this community. I sound like Pace Morby saying people are leaders in the community. We're finally starting to get somewhere, guys. So I love that.
No, you sound like the guru.
Did you bring up Kylie is coming to the office tomorrow too? So
yes.
Be one of our first wholesalers in the office for the
Kylie is going to be our first gunner. She's a gunner now, Skylar. She's successfully closed a deal. So when does Kylie's deal close? I may have been preemptive and jumped the gun on it. Does it close Friday? Tomorrow? The first one?
That's a good question. Kylie, when does it close? The first one closes May 22nd.
Okay, well, I jumped the gun on it. I made Kylie a gunner.
Because
no pun intended.
Because the vacancy. So the problem was, this might be educational for me to say too.
All right,
I
go
don't
for
know
it,
if you
Skylar.
want me to go through it, but so the issue that we had with this one was that we sent out a TREC contract. So, the front side contract on it, we had vacant at close. So, and the seller signed for vacant at close. But unfortunately, the seller did not let us know that there was tenants in there. Well, first of all, it was the agent. The agent didn't let us know there was tenants in there. Well, they signed off for it. Well, later on, like a week later, or not a week later, maybe like 2 days later, the seller calls back and was like, "Hey, didn't send you the lease. Here's the lease." And then I took a look and I was like, "Whoa, it's a month to month." I was like, "When did you give them the 30-day notice?" And he had just given them the 30-day notice. So that's always something to look for, because now we have to wait until the 17th because they can't legally kick the tenants out. Even though they signed for vacant at close, it doesn't matter because they didn't give their 30 days to the vacate they didn't give the notice to the tenants to vacate the property. So the tenants have 30 days legally to vacate the property after being given that. Doesn't matter what the seller signs. Now, yes, we try to do a cash for key situation. Our buyer was one of our number one buyers, purchased over 20 properties from us. He was like, "Hey, no big deal. Let's just, ask them if they're willing to do cash for keys. I'll put up 500, whatever." And the tenants weren't willing to do that. So it just goes to show, we're still going to close. It's one of our good buyers and we have a good relationship, thanks to Kylie, with the front side. But just goes to show that you always need your ducks in a row. If there's tenants, always ask for a lease. and you want to make sure that you're not going to have to do a lease back scenario. Now you can, that's perfectly fine, and you can just do closing later, but you just want to make sure that way you don't go in blind. And then when you have buyers asking you questions that and again, this was totally on me. This was not on Kylie. This was my fault, and I apologize to everyone. But yeah, so just always make sure that the vacancy clauses.
So yeah, to pretty much sum up what Skylar said, I think Skylar's a little hard on himself. Skylar's been, dude, how long have you been at the company for officially? What is it? It's been less than a month now.
This Friday would be my fourth Friday. So,
Okay,
yeah.
so it's about a month now. Skylar has what now? It's 6 deals under contract.
Well, one of them's from Kylie. So yeah,
I mean, they're you, right?
6. Yeah.
You're the acquisition
Well,
agent.
yeah. 6.
So okay, and I think that's
6, and then if we get Kylie's duplexes and this other one, then that would be a lot more. So
that would be 10. So he's at
oh,
6
and
now, and hopefully for
Kylie, can
10.
you while I'm on here, Kylie, can you individually contract each of those addresses, by the way, please?
Skylar, not right now.
Skylar.
Skylar, wrong time to be doing work. But anyways, Skylar,
Sorry,
I'm trying to give you a shout out here. If you don't want it, that's fine. But long story short is
I'm sorry.
our
I
usual.
didn't
Skylar,
feel
okay,
like
I'm gonna
hanging
mute
up
you.
and calling.
I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna have to mute you, Skylar. You're talking too much work. So Skylar, if you guys don't know, he's a workaholic. He's at the office at like 6 a.m. He leaves the office at like 10 p.m. The dude's insane. But it just shows you the amount of work you do is directly correlated to the amount of deals you close. This is not a luck game. This is just a hard work game. We tell our average acquisition agent at our company that they maybe will get their first deal their first month, but no promises. They should get their first deal within, I don't know, 3 months. Skylar is at 6 and it's been 1 month, but it's only because he works 10 times harder than anyone I've ever seen. He's literally working 12 to 14 hours a day, no exception. And and he's what? He's 19 years old now. So anyone can do this. It's just a matter of how much work you want to put in. And if you don't have the time to work as hard as everyone else, well, then you can work smarter. There's a lot of ways you can just outsmart people in the business too. So that's what I love about wholesaling. It's as hard you can work as hard as you can and as smart as you can, and the results will show. So that's that. And Skylar can't ever stop talking work, as you can see. But we love Skylar. So, all right, I can unmute you now, Skylar, if you want. But anyways, guys, so I want to make sure that we have half an hour left on the live stream. Can I answer more direct to seller questions? And yes, I will give you guys your list of phone numbers after this. You guys want me to go through like
Yeah.
how I cold call these numbers, like what you should say when you're calling? Go ahead, Skylar.
I got a
ask
couple
a question?
Yeah, I'll
questions.
let
Can
you
I
go,
ask a
Shanks. But
question?
yes, Skylar, you ask your question, then it's Shanks. Go for it.
No, please, you go ahead.
Okay, then go for it, Shanks.
Yeah, these might be two rather large questions. Maybe you can give me the brief, but I'm really curious as to how you have banter with pre-foreclosures. Um, whether you're cold calling them or door knocking, how is it that you're presenting this opportunity of getting them out of their situation, knowing what your end goal is, your objective is?
Yeah, great question. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm pulling up my different lists I have. I have lists for pre-foreclosures. I have lists for expired listings. I have a little bit of lists for everything. I'm working on finishing those up for you guys to put them in the Discord. So y'all will have free lists that I've made and that's worked for me. But the first thing is usually when I call pre-foreclosures, I'm thinking subject to. I'm thinking, hey, I want to take over that loan, but not always. But when I call pre-foreclosures, I immediately want to de-escalate. Maybe different things work for you, but these people are already like, hey, who's calling me? Why are you bothering me? Hey, like, leave me alone, right? So you need to de-escalate. Or hey, I'm here. I'm a realtor or I'm a real estate investor, and I'm genuinely here to help you. I want to see if I can work out a solution to help you with your payments. And you be very understanding to them. You never say like, oh yeah, you're late on a payment. Be like, hey, I know how tough the economy is right now. I know how hard things are. I'm just generally here to see if I can work out a solution. Are you interested in selling your house? Or like, I don't want to sell my house. I want to stay here. I totally get that. But I can really, I can write you an offer that can maybe help you out. Maybe I can help you find a new place afterwards. You have to give them solutions. It's like, hey, I can give you some extra money so that you can move. I can give you an extra money so you can have a 1 month rent at your new apartment. What can I offer to help you? Come in with that helpful tone on pre-foreclosures. That's what works for me. Does anyone else have something that works for them?
Can I Can I add something?
Skylar, you can always add things. Just jump on in.
Yeah, so if from a sub 2 perspective, 100%, you always think sub 2 on those. I mean, that's number one. If you are talking cash or really, I guess anything in pre-foreclosure. Sorry, I'm driving, so if it's a little loud on my mic. But anyway, you also have to pitch the idea that it's like, yes, you might lose out on getting even retail, because you're never really going to sell a retail, right? If you're in pre-foreclosure, you're never going to sell what your house is even worth, right? And they don't have enough time to do innovation or any of that type of stuff. So you kind of sell them the idea that, hey, losing out on a little bit of money or even taking a loss for this, and taking something that's not worth what we practically should be giving you for this property. But is it better to lose out on that capital now, but be able to still have okay credit and not have your home foreclosed on? Because if you have your home foreclosed on, I mean, it's a whole process, and Max knows a lot more of it, than I do. I honestly don't know too much about it, but I know that you're not going to be able to go get a car payment. You're not going to go be able to get another home. You're not going to be able to go get on another mortgage. You may not even be able to rent an apartment, right? So you're going to be in a really tough spot if your house forecloses. That's almost worse than losing out on tens of thousands of dollars, because those tens of thousands of dollars will come back with hard work and time. The credit, it won't. Right. So that's always what you're selling as well, is the simplicity of being able to get out of that situation and not having to hit your credit, because, like I said, tens of thousands of dollars is, a better loss than losing out on your credit, because then you're really going to be in a tough spot, because those type of people, they're not the type of people that they're paying cash for things in the first place, right? They rely on credit for,
That's a good point.
pulling out capital. So that's
a good
also
point.
one thing that I would pull out.
Yeah, Skylar nailed it. So I
Yeah, so
added my
losing out on that.
I put my pre-foreclosure script here for you guys. That's just another little special benefit y'all are getting for joining the live stream. I'm going to be putting all these scripts in the script section soon. I just wanted to perfect them, but this is my pre-foreclosure script for sub 2, so you can read through it. But this script, I spent tens and tens of hours on perfecting the verbiage, and I really like it. So I mean, we could go through it a little bit if you want, but
Max,
yeah, no, go ahead, Cody.
that opening line where you tell them you're an investor, that works for you?
Yeah.
For me, I don't know what it is about me. I guess I'm just abrasive, but I get the worst feedback when I open with that.
So it depends on who I'm calling. I've noticed that if I'm calling like for sale by owners, saying, "Hey, I'm a real estate investor," awful, right? Because they don't like, they want to sell to someone for full price. So a lot of times investor doesn't work, but for other lists, investor works. So it's again trial and error, guys. Pre foreclosures, I like to use the realtor card because I am a licensed realtor. That may not work for you. What do you say, Cody? That works better for you?
When I hit up foreclosures?
When you hit up whatever, yeah, when you hit up foreclosures, what do you say? Like, what's your opening line?
I'm just like, hey, I'm a local home buyer. I'm not. I always tell people I'm not with a big fund.
Interesting. Okay.
I go the opposite route of what most of the guys at RP do. They're like, hey, we got a fund where we got cash. Like, no, I'm the guy. I pull the money out. You deal with me the whole time.
I love that. And
so
this is
I'd agree with that.
I love
I
that.
agree with that, Cody, because that's my pitch as well. Most of the time, I don't do a lot of direct to seller stuff anymore. Obviously, when I was doing it, my pitch was more of, hey, I just bought a property. Yes, you might not have, and I don't like to lie, but this is just my pitch. I say, hey, I actually just purchased a property in a couple subdivisions down. I mean,
That's
we're looking to
literally a
purchase.
lie.
I'm looking to purchase. Well, I'm just saying, I'm looking to purchase a couple more in the next month. Would you be willing to take it off, or whatever it might be, right? To where it's like you're personable and you're not like, hey, I'm about to buy 20 properties in the year. It's like, hey, I just bought one. I'm actually looking to buy maybe one or two more by the end of the year. But to where it's like, just like Cody said, it's like it's personal and they're reaching out to you. It's not like that 8-100 number type thing where it's like they're going through a huge company and a huge process, because that's a headache. If they're dealing with you the whole time, it's a lot better for them.
It really depends on who you are and what works best for you. We thought, Kylie has the friendly approach, and that works for her. Sometimes coming off as the big rich professional works well for some people. It sort of depends on your attitude and demeanor. Captain Vacation Tony, he comes in like, hey, I'm big dog. right? That's just Tony's bravo, right? And that works for him. Because it's just who he is. So he say like, hey, I'm a real estate investor. I'm going to buy your house right now, and this is why you're going to sell it to me. And it's like, Jesus, Tony, fine. Like, you take my house, right? Everyone has that different approach. So again, it's what works best for you. But I love Cody's like, hey, I'm just a local guy here to help you. I buy some homes in the area. You know, I'm not here to scam you or screw you. I'm just a dude, and you're just a dude. Let's talk. So different approaches. You can say that, hey, before you hang up. So something I really want to stress, guys, is on these calls, and I mentioned on the last live stream, if you're the one to hang up first, you have failed. I don't care what call that is. They should hang up on you. There is nothing stopping them from hanging up on you. So if they hang up on you, okay, that's fine. You did your best. But if they're like, I don't want to talk right now, well, they haven't hung up on you, so keep talking. Leave me alone. Don't call me. Well, then just hang up on me. But I'm not gonna hang. I'm not gonna hang up, right? So sometimes I'd like to say, hey, before you hang up, hey, just give me 2 minutes of your time. Just something to intervene, because their instant reaction, and dude, I get calls all day long, is literally, hi, I'm a real estate investor. I just hang up on these people. Like, I do the same thing to these people. I always feel bad. So if someone says, hey, before you hang up, just give me 30 seconds of your time. Let me tell you my elevator pitch. I'd be like, all right, I'm open. Let me hear it out. So that's what I like to do. I say something like, hey, I help homeowners just like you who are in difficult situations. Now, would I say this on a regular house that you guys I'm going to give you a list for? No, because these people aren't in difficult situations. So the approach may be, actually, we'll talk about the approach on the phone numbers at the end on what you would do for the regulars, but this is pre-foreclosure. I say, hey, I already wrote up an offer on your home. Can I tell you right now how much I would pay for your home? This has worked great for me. And why did I confidently say I already wrote up an offer on your home and I'll tell you right now how much I'll pay for your home? Because I'm thinking subject to. And what does that mean for people who don't know? That just means, hey, I'm going to buy this house by taking over the loan payments. I'm just going to take over their mortgage. So what's my offer? Well, my offer is your mortgage, pretty much. So this has worked so well for me, but everyone has their different approach. And then I tell you the value proposition. I'm like, hey, what if I told you there's a way to save your home from foreclosure, but also keep your credit intact and even put a little bit of cash in your pocket? So, just you can play around with the script, but this has worked really well for me. And I'm going to give you guys a script on pre-foreclosures, expired listings, cash deals, on market. I'm going to get you guys a script on everything. Just give me a week or two to get it to you. And then if you guys have questions about the script, let me know. But yeah, this has worked really well for me. It's really the most important part is just nailing that intro, and then the rest is just a conversation. So yeah.
Yeah, and eventually
Okay.
you get to the point where it's like you don't even need a script. You can be in the car and you're not even thinking about what you're saying. So it's just like having a normal conversation.
And then the other
You just
thing
have to
that's
get to
super
that point.
important, guys, is once you're having that conversation and things are flowing, at some point you have to convert and start talking about what you're there to talk about. So when Kylie's on those phone calls with the realtors and she's asking the questions, you know how it is when you're on a call with somebody, you're like, oh, yeah, the house is really nice, but I've noticed this, I noticed that, and how's your day going? And this, and it's like, okay, it's game time. You gotta break the hard news. You gotta talk at the money. Then you need a way to transition into the money. That's like your converting question. At some point, you got to say, hey, I love this property, but it's too expensive. This is my best offer. Or in this situation, hey, I'm going to have to mute you, Shanks, because of the wind, and I'll unmute you. Or in some situations, it's, hey, if I took over all of your payments and rebuilt your credit, what would it take for you to step away from this property? What would it take for you to step away from this headache of a property that's causing you to waste all of your time, to stress you out? I mean, these foreclosure things are so stressful. What would it take for me right now to help you step away from this property? I'm here to help you step away from this property. And then the guy's like, oh, shoot, I don't know. What would it take? What help me step away? I mean, I don't know. Can you give me money to move maybe? Sure. How much money is it to move? I'm here to help you and give you, solutions. Well, I mean, I guess I need a few $100s to move, and maybe a place to stay. Sure. I'll give you all that. Right. That's the converting questions. And then you also want to dig, right? So in this script, you're going to teach you how to dig for information. It'll teach you how to dig for the mortgage payments and the mortgage payments, the interest rates, and all that stuff. But we can talk more about it. But really, what I want to stress is, well, one, just getting on the calls. Two, nailing that intro. Whatever intro for you works, do that. Everyone has a different approach. I come from more of the professional approach, like, hey, I'm a realtor, I'm licensed, hey, I got a big fund. Cody's coming more from the approach of, I'm just a guy, right? Tony comes from the approach of, you're going to sell me your house right now, and this is why. So everyone has a different approach. But then once you start that conversation, you get that conversation rolling, you get that friendly banter going, then it's time to convert. And then you got to figure out a way to convert into the important like conversation. You talk the money. And then that's really that's cold calling in a nutshell. The rest is just the rest. And then there's some information you want to dig for. So when you're calling a sub 2 property, you want to dig for the mortgage payments, which is the interest rate. Interest rate's like the most important, and also the loan balance. And then also, what they want to sell the property for, what they want. Like that's the most important stuff. When you're calling a seller finance deal, it's like, hey, are you interested in like deferring payments over time? Like what amount of money works for you every single month? Those types of things. A little bit harder. Cash deals, really simple. You just want to know like what repairs the properties need, their timeline, their motivation is always important for everything, and like roughly what cash price they want. There's key information you want to dig for, and that's calling. That's it. Get on the phones, nail your intro, have a friendly banter, start a converting question, start digging for that information, and then just say, thank you so much. Let me get back to you. And then you send me the numbers, you send Skylar the numbers, you run the numbers, you send someone else the numbers, and then you come in with what we talked about in the beginning, that offer, which can be a call, a text, or an LOI. That's cold calling. That's it. That's the game. People overcomplicate it, but it should not be complicated. And there's no one right way to do it. It just needs to be personal to you. So yeah, you go ahead. Let me unmute you, Shanks. And then if anyone else has questions, jump in. So go for it, Shanks. You're unmuted.
Okay, great. Thanks. So my two follow-up questions. One was, I know that not just we, but in general, it's more advantageous to try to take a pre-foreclosure sub 2 instead of trying to buy it for cash. But what would a situation look like, or do you have any experience situations where it made sense to take a pre-foreclosure for cash instead of trying to make a creative deal out of it? And then my second question is, because my foreclosure process for Texas is a bit hazy because it's a redemption state, if I'm not mistaken, from my tax lien education. And so there's quite a lengthy period where the homeowner can still come in and buy their property from the county or the sheriff. I'm not sure. I can't remember, like, just judicial or non-judicial, who own, like, who holds the account, whether it's a sheriff or not. But considering that, I guess, where does because Texas is a state where the homeowner has quite a bit of time to get their property back once they're in a foreclosure process. So where do you where's the urgency for people who live in Texas, I guess, is what I'm saying. How can you create some of that urgency? I know that some people are just simply uneducated, so when they get that pre-foreclosure notice, they're already panicking. But yeah, I guess if you could shed any light on that.
Okay, so I
If that
want
makes
to. Okay, so let's answer your first question first. His first
Okay.
question here, we'll take notes on this. It's, you have a pre-foreclosure, and guys, what is a pre-foreclosure? It's pretty much a property where they're late on their mortgage payments. So we got a house, and this house, let's say that it is currently worth about $300,000. Okay, and there is a underlying mortgage of $280,000. Okay, the mortgage is $280,000. It was recently bought in, let's say, 2021, so it has a low rate mortgage, and the mortgage is $280,000. The house has not gone up in value much, and this mortgage is at, well, if it's at in 2021, then the mortgage is about 3%. So we know that there's a low rate mortgage, right? So one box is checked. And we know that they have low equity, right? There's only $20,000 of equity here, right? That's their profit pretty much. Now, if they were to sell the house on market, actually they'd be negative equity. So that's always a pitch I use. I'm like, hey, your house is worth 300,000, but if you listed it on the market, you have to pay agent commissions, you have to pay closing costs, you'd have to repair some things. You always subtract 10%. So now you say, hey, you would only walk away with 270,000. But wait, you're not walking away with $270,000 because you have a mortgage of $280,000. So actually, you're going to sell your house, your hard-earned house, and you're going to pay me, the buyer, $10,000 cash. Can you imagine that effed up world where you're selling your house and you're losing $10,000? Well, I have a solution for you. I am going to just take over your mortgage payments and give you $5,000 cash to find a new place for moving costs and apartments and all that stuff. So that's the pitch. But what did I look for there? Really two things. I looked for that low rate mortgage, which they checked. And if they bought a house in 2020, 2021, 2019, you already know they have a low rate mortgage. You don't even need to ask them. And I'm looking for low equity. And if those two boxes really are checked, subject to, always, subject to for sure. Now that's a property you'll buy for yourself, or you can wholesale really easily. It doesn't. So those are your two boxes. But let's say we were calling a pre-foreclosure, and they had an interest rate of 6%.
Real quick,
Go
who
for it.
holds the title during that entire while you're paying the I think
The guy who they own the title and the deed. At least let's talk Texas. They own title and deed, and until the
okay.
point where they sell the house. Once they sell the house, title and deed always transfer. Title and deed transfer. Now that's in Texas. Title and
So
deed transfer.
subtoing doesn't qualify as a sale.
No, it does.
It's a contract.
It does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a great question. When you sell your house, subject to what's going on, the debt, you got to split up two things. You got to split up the debt, which is the mortgage, and then also, I'll draw it out for you guys. I know you can't see my camera right now. You got to split up two things. You're splitting up debt, and then you're splitting up title and deed. This is pretty much your receipt. Pace Morby always says receipt. When you go to the grocery store, this is the famous Pace Morby example, and you buy groceries, and what shows the proof that you own the groceries? It's the receipt. This is your receipt of ownership, and then this is the debt. So usually when you buy a house, you own the debt and the receipt. But in sub 2, the debt stays in the seller's name, and then you, the buyer, have this. So you get title and deed. It's a normal. God, what the heck happened? You get title and deed. It's a normal sale, but the seller gets the debt, and that's so beneficial for you because now you don't have debt in your name. It's crazy good, and the seller is the one who had to go to the bank, right? The seller is the one who had to get credentials. The seller is the one who had to go and have credit. The seller is the one who had to put the down payment down with cash. You didn't have to do any of that. You just took over the seller's debt, but the title and the deed transfer to you. And that's why sub 2 is so good for investors. Is it good for the sellers? Yeah. No. Yes, it can be helpful. And it needs to be sellers who are in desperate situations. If you're not desperate, you're probably not selling your property sub 2. Again, as Pace always says, we buy homes sub 2, but we don't sell homes sub 2. We buy homes on seller finance. We don't sell homes on wraps. Oh, sorry, opposite. We don't buy homes on wraps. So that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, that's to answer your question. But yeah, back to your initial question right here, just really quick. If I'm finding a pre-foreclosure and it has a high interest rate, so maybe the interest rate is 6%, well then I'm going to offer them cash for sure. Or if they have, or if they're not low equity. Remember, I told you the two things to look for. If they're high interest rate or high equity, then I'm offering cash. If they are low interest rate and low equity, then I'm thinking sub 2. So in this situation, let's say they have a mortgage of $180,000, and that makes their equity $120,000. I don't want to give them $120,000 cash for their equity. At that point, I'm just going to write a cash offer. So I'm going to be like, hey man, would you take $240,000 cash for your home? He ends up walking away with 60 grand cash. So yeah, you can be in a pre-foreclosure and still walk away with a lot of money. Just because you're in a pre-foreclosure doesn't mean you're low equity. You could have gotten your loan in 2004, but now you just hit hard times. You lost your job now. So it's a little bit of a misunderstanding when people think pre-foreclosures are only low equity. So does that answer your initial question? And what other one follow-up?
Yeah. Yes. If it's a situation for pre-foreclosure where you're buying cash would be where there's a high interest rate, high equity.
Yes. Nailed
Yeah,
it. Nailed it.
that answers my question. And just real quick, you illustrating that it does seem it would be beneficial to the seller understanding that their credit is in jeopardy, and even though the debt retains in their name, they have someone taking over those payments, so they're not even, if I understand that correctly, so they're not even really um right, like you basically save their credit by paying off that
Exactly.
mortgage
No,
for the
sub
rest.
two is great for a seller. Don't get me wrong. It's just
Yeah.
more great for a buyer. Now, it's only great for the seller if the buyer fulfills their duties. But the pitch is, and hopefully
Right.
you, the buyer, are fulfilling your duties, or else you're a
Right.
dickhead, or you're wholesaling to someone who's actually fulfilling their duties. Don't know. That's why when I'm
Right.
saying when you're wholesaling creative, you got to be really careful who your buyer is, because if your buyer is a dickhead who doesn't make the payments, it can come back on you. I mean, creative is, that's why I personally like to invest more creative and not wholesale as much creative, but we still do it if we have good
Hmm.
buyers. But long story short is the pitch is, yeah, your credit is going to stay intact, but not only that, I'm actually going to help increase and boost your credit. Wait, what? You're going to help increase my credit? Yes, because I'm going to be making these payments on your behalf every single month on the first, like clockwork. And guess what happens when I make payments every single month on the first, like clockwork, over time? Your credit's actually going to go up. So you're going to sell me your house. And right now you have struggling credit. I'm going to make your credit better. So you actually want to sell your house subject to. You don't want to sell your house cash. You actually want me to take over the debt. You see how you can pitch that?
Absolutely.
Dude, exactly. So when you start to, and that's the thing, is when you start to really understand the intricacies of sub two or seller finance, you can pitch it and really convince people that they want to go that way. And is that all true? That's actually true. When Pace Morby buys a house sub two, he's extremely benefiting the sellers for the most part. You still have debt in your name. We can talk about this. There's a lot to it. Most of that debt gets washed away, not all of it. So if you want to go repurchase a property in the future, most of it is washed away, not all. This is another great question for another time. But for the most part, yeah, Pace is helping these people. But if you get a buyer who ends up not making their payments on times, misses something, then you can be very detrimental. So, yeah, but yeah, sub two is amazing and can really help
Can
people.
you guys hear me?
Yeah, go for it. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Cody. You had a question. What's your real name?
Yeah. My real name is Dakota, but I've been called Cody my whole
Oh,
life.
see, okay,
I
easy,
get
cool.
called Dakota as like professional legal stuff.
Nice, man. Where are you calling from?
But- I'm in Illinois, Central Illinois.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So my question was, so if you take over a property that's like subject to, what happens to the owners of that property's his equity? So on that example, I think you already answered this, but I just I need you to explain it a
Let's do
little.
it.
But okay, so we had that $300,000 house. If the owner had, say, $120,000 in equity, or yeah, 120,000. So he'd already paid $120,000, and we take over those payments. That would leave us with what, $180,000 left, correct?
Okay, this is a beautiful question. And if is Cashley in here? Cashley's gonna love this because she's gonna know exactly what we're talking about here in a second. So they have a mortgage,
I was
right?
gonna say, what happened? Yeah,
They have a mortgage
yeah.
of
You see what I'm
180,000.
asking?
Okay, yeah.
Here.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful, Cashley. You're gonna like this one. So there's a house that's worth 300,000. That's what it's worth currently, and they have a mortgage of 180,000. And we're gonna sub to this $180,000 loan. We're gonna take over these payments, but that leaves us $120,000 in equity, and this is where negotiations come in. You could give them
And
$120,000 cash.
that's what the owner of the property's already paid for his mortgage payments.
No, not technically. So let's say, well, actually, no, because he may have bought this house in, I don't know, let's say he bought the house 10 years ago for 200 and, I don't know, 220,000, but it's appreciated and now it's worth 300,000, right? So, but
Right.
it could have just appreciated. Maybe he's only paid $40,000 of his. Well, actually, if he bought it for 220, he probably had a down payment. He could have only paid 10, 20, $30,000 of his mortgage up to this point. but appreciation has caused his house now to be worth 300,000. Does
Okay.
that make sense to you?
Yeah. So if I have a kind of a follow up question to that,
Okay.
if he had gotten that house, for 300,000, and then kind of fell behind, but he had already made like 120,000 in his mortgage payments, but he still owed 180, and then we come in and say, hey, we can take over your payments. Uh, what happens to his equity, to that money that he already put in? Does he get compensated for that
So yeah,
somewhere,
we're
one
going to
way or
talk about
another?
that right now. So one, that example is not likely in current situations because if you've already paid off half of your mortgage, pretty much, $120,000 is probably like 20 years of a mortgage payment. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense to you
Okay.
guys because you're like that 20 years. That's probably how it works because you pay more interest at first. So imagine you paid
Right.
for 20 years, your house has gone up in value. There's no way in real estate where real estate doesn't go up over 20 years. But let's just run with your
Right.
example. Let's say you bought a house for 300,000 and he's paid $120,000 of the loan. Yeah, because it's worth 120. So that comes back to this. It just they're a pure negotiation. What we're talking about is when you have equity. This is equity. How do we pay this equity? Now that's up for you to decide. You could come
Yeah.
in
Sorry,
cash.
that was my overall question. Sorry,
Yes.
I made that
No,
more
it's all good.
complicated than
Hey,
it might be.
we love complicated situations. You could pay this cash. No, I mean, that's not very creative, but you could. And if I was going to pay this cash, I wouldn't pay it full value. So maybe you could say, hey, here's $40,000 cash. But they're like, dude, I have 120 grand in equity. Take it or leave it. Go and try to sell that yourself.
Okay.
See what you can get. So you could come in cash and try to get a really good deal. That's one option. Or you could say, let's do a hybrid deal. You hear that, Cashley? Let's do a hybrid deal. And what's a hybrid deal? Well, we talked about in our last video, but that's pretty much saying I'm running out of space here. This 120 grand, we're going to do one fun thing. We're going to seller finance that. Big shout out to Pace. He's the one who made hybrids famous. We're going to set up a second note and seller finance this. We can talk about this more another time. Or what Pace Morby does mostly is he says, hey, your equity, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a private money lender and I'm actually going to get a loan from somebody like you or me who actually lends out money, and they're going to loan me that 120 grand, and then I'm going to give you that 120 grand cash, and then I'm going to pay back my private money lender over time. That's an option if you have a good lender, but just know that's probably going to cost you like 12% interest. So those are
Ooh,
really the
okay.
three ways to pay off equity. It's either cash, it's getting a seller, getting a loan from the seller, which is seller financing. That's called a hybrid deal when you sub to in seller finance, or it's getting a loan from a
Mm.
third party, a private money lender. Or you could be like Tony, Captain Vacation in this group. And what he does is he says, you have 120 grand in equity? Well, you're shit out of luck. I don't really care. You're going to lose your house tomorrow. So I'm going to buy your house today. And that's really Tony's strong suit is he's able to buy homes really, really cheap, but he's finding people who are literally about to enter foreclosure tomorrow. The auction is tomorrow and he's coming in and buying their house that day. So he's like the saving grace. And because he's so last minute, he's able to get really good deals. So everyone has their little niche. So I mean, I guess there's one option is you just don't pay the equity.
Okay.
So if the seller is very, very motivated and they're entering foreclosure tomorrow, hey, maybe they're okay with that. So those are your four options on that. Guys, unfortunately I have to jump off at 7, but hey, I'm gonna run this. I'll run this 10 more minutes. Why not? I'm having a good time. So seller finance the equity or give them the equity in cash. Yes, love learning about hybrids. Learn this from Pace. Exactly. Or a private money lender, or also known or a hard money lender. So those are your other options. Great question. Anybody else got questions? I mean, today's video was supposed to be on off market, but hey, we love creative questions. So just know that I'm going to send you guys all the list. So if there's new people who jumped in this group, make sure to this where I said free phone numbers up here, scroll up on the chat or send me a DM and make sure you ask for those free phone numbers. Right now I have like 14 people. I'm sure there's more of you. There's been more of you in this live stream. So some of you have not DM'd me or like this. I want to make sure I send you phone numbers. And I'll probably do that tomorrow. So I'll get you guys a list of phone numbers to call. All right. Anybody have more questions?
I don't think so.
Shanks. Nah, dude. Anytime, Shanks. I need to change your name to Shanks. I haven't done that yet. There he goes.
So we're doing this today will be considered what type of day? So we have Creative Tuesdays, and what is this considered?
Yeah, I think we should just do Creative Tuesdays, and then Thursdays are what? I mean, I think it's anything. Probably more cash wholesaling.
Okay,
Probably more a little bit more
gotcha,
cash, and then cash can take many forms. We can do more cold calling. We can do yeah. I think y'all enjoy the cold
gotcha.
calling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What time do you think that you'll be starting on Thursdays forward? I only got it scheduled for Tuesday.
Tuesdays, Thursdays, 5:30 Central Standard Time, and I usually run this for about 2
Gotcha.
hours. And then I may start doing Sundays if you guys like this enough. So maybe we'll start doing Sundays too.
Yes, sir. Okay,
All right.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye,
Bye, guys.
Cashley. See ya. Wonderful. Okay.
So, to get the sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go for it.
Okay, so to get the list, do you need my email or
I'm
right
going to
to send the
message
list?
you on Discord. So just so you know how to use Discord, everybody, I know it's super confusing sometimes. You have your channel up here. You guys can see my screen. There's going to be direct messages. So you'll just click that direct message, and you should get a message from me, Captain Soup, the pirate.
Okay.
And I'll send you a link.
Okay.
Probably just a Google Forms link, and you'll have phone numbers on there. So,
Okay,
yeah.
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I hope this is just a motivation to get you guys starting calling on the list. And by the way, like I said, I'm going to be picking people from the group and giving them free phone numbers, people who really want to learn, people who want to like dedicate a lot of time to this. So if that's you, feel free to message me.
Okay.
That's super exciting. Any other
No,
questions?
this
Yes,
Discord
go
channel
ahead.
is really organized.
Oh,
It's
thank you
really
so much.
organized, and they welcome where you just send us to the YouTube to just show how everything works. I'm impressed. It's really organized. I have been in other Discords, and by far, this has been the most organized.
Oh, that's so kind of you. That's so kind. It's been stressing me out so much. I'm
Really?
trying to make it the best possible, and I'm still not 100% happy with how it is. But getting that, reassurance from you, makes me so happy. So thank you so much.
Yes, and it's really fun. It's different, like
Thank
with
you.
the names and with I really love it.
Oh, thank you. And then you pronounce your name Anais, or how do you pronounce it?
Anais.
Anais.
No, Anais.
Okay, wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
it's so great to meet you. Where are you from?
Venezuela, from Caracas.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
That's so great. How long have you lived here for?
A long time in
A
the
long time.
States, for 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The
Well,
accent is still there.
it's an awesome accent. Well, yeah, no, you're welcome
Yeah.
in this group. And if you need anything at all, you just reach out anytime. We're here to help you. So whatever your goals are in
Thank you so
wholesaling
much.
or investing. Yeah, I mean, I'll ask you and anyone else want to jump in. Like, what are your goals with wholesaling or investing? Like, where are you guys trying to get to?
Well, because I'm starting, I guess I'm doing wholesaling to just raise some capital, but my really long-term goal is just, create a portfolio so I can have rentals or different short-term, mid-term, but like just have it for me, like
Wonderful.
building wealth, I guess. Yeah.
That's the beauty. Yep. That's the beauty.
And I'm interested in multifamily, but I guess that's like for, I need to get comfortable with this and then maybe get into that.
Yeah. Multifamily is just math. So if you enjoy the math that I'm doing here, that's multifamily. So
Yeah.
multifamily is much more spreadsheets, run like a business.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, that's my goal so far. So we'll see. I really want to get at least this year 1 or 2 properties to have for rental. So
Beautiful. I think you can absolutely do it.
thank you.
Absolutely. And if you need any help with the portfolio and buying properties, you just ask us.
All right. Awesome.
Okay, great. Anybody else have some final questions or anything y'all want to wrap up with, or questions about something specifically that I can?
Nah, man, go
jump
enjoy
off?
your time with your moms.
All right. I
We'll chop
should
it up
probably
another
jump
time.
off and hang out with the family. I love this so much.
Yeah.
Well, all of you are so great. I'm gonna send y'all those numbers. I won't forget you. I think it's saved here. So it should be right here. I think this will work. I will make sure to take a picture before I leave, just so it's there. So yeah, I'll get you guys all the numbers, and if you guys need anything, you just reach out and ask.
Have a great night, man.
All right, wonderful. Thanks, James,
Have a
and
good
thanks
one.
everyone. All right, I'll see y'all later. All right, see you, YouTube. I love you guys so much. Subscribe and join the Wholesalers community. We're a big family. Bye, everyone.